Good day, everybody. We're back with some poplar for a client, and we're going to work on the urn that she's requesting. This piece here, this portion is about 12 inches, 11, actually about 11 inches, 11 to 12 inches. And then we'll be making the top portion as well off of a separate piece of the poplar. But we are basically round. We do have to touch it up. It's been sitting for a while. I mentioned that it was 11 to 12 inches in length, but it is about 8 3/4 to 9 inches already round. So we're going to straighten it out, get a tenon put on the bottom, start working the top, get a good defined shape, and we will go from there. So, alright, I'll bring you back. Alright, we're going to have to get some thin resin, thin it out really well, and get it soaked into this before we go any further. So let's go ahead and mix that up and I'll bring you back. Okay, we're back. I've got our epoxy. It's more like a thick water. Crocus Creek's channel on YouTube. He actually does this a lot with his stuff. It helps toughen up the wood itself, especially like punky spots like these portions right over here, because they're actually nice and soft and punky. This will fill them up. The denatured alcohol that's in it thins out the epoxy, and then when the denatured alcohol evaporates, the epoxy stays and it toughens up the wood. It makes it a lot stronger, it seals it up really well. So we're going to go ahead and put this on around the whole thing, and then when it dries, hopefully tomorrow I can get back out here and we can shape it up a little bit more after this stuff is soaked in. So there is a bunch of spots that need to toughen up on this thing, especially right down here at the bottom portion, right in here. All right. Because this is close to the shape, but not the actual final shape. Alright, everybody, we are back, and just realized I went ahead and I did, after everything dried, it's been about 2 or 3 days, I haven't been able to get back out here, and I already took the first cut off. So as you can see, it does look pretty darn smooth now on a lot more pieces than it did. because all this was really rough and coming apart. We still have some itty bitty soft spots which can be dealt with individually. I'm going to dress it up a little bit more on the shape and go from there. And I apologize, I didn't get the initial first cut done on here. I don't know what happened with it, so didn't get it on camera. I'm going to go ahead and do some more touch-ups, and then we'll do the sanding for the outside and sealing the outside for good, pretty much. And then we can start on the hollowing. So let's get this outside trimmed up a little bit more. And now the battery's getting low as well, so we'll have to make sure we knock this out. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And we do have some cracks to fill right here and here, but I'll have to come up with a way. I'm thinking about filling it. I might do it with the coffee grounds, something I know is going to be solid and sealed up pretty good, and we'll take care of some of these smaller cracks now, but it's pretty solid. I'm going to tighten up the bottom real quick before the camera goes out, and then we will change the battery out. Yeah, that's not scary. Yeah, we're going to be on hold. I might have to get a steady rest. We'll go ahead and sand this down and get the outside set before we start moving any further with it. So I will go ahead and knock that out off camera. Ooh, that's going to be pretty. It's got a natural mark here. Alright, I'll get the sanding then. I'm not really going to go too much further with sanding. I went to 240, but I'm going to fix this, and I don't want to sand it like 600 to 8 or 1,000 or anything, and then fix this and then it all gets messed up and I got to redo everything. So we will go ahead and repair this. I'm going to seal up the outside with some sanding sealer just to hold it over, and it will sand down without a problem, no big deal. And then I will fill this with some coffee grounds. I think that's what I'm going to do. Nice solid black coffee grounds with it. It will match some of the spalting that we have in it, some of the grain patterns, and then we'll seal it up pretty well and get this steady rest out here so I can ensure that I have a good nice hollowing on the inside. So I needed to get a new one for the 18-inch anyway, so for this lathe. This gives me a reason, so we shall return. Sanding sealer is darkening the wood some, and it's definitely soaking it right up too. Even though we used the epoxy, we did take that top layer off, and there is, like I said, the epoxy's still in it, but it's not like sealed. So we will definitely be putting a couple coats on after we get finished with this. Well, when it's time to put the finishing coats on, I should say. We got to get this repaired, we got to get it hollowed out and sand it down on the outside and inside, and then finally we will do the finish on the outside. But this is just for now, to keep it safe while we continue on. Alright, we've got it filled now, and we had some overflow when I was moving it around and spraying it with the accelerant. The accelerant works really well, but it seals the outside and the inside's still gooey, so if you move it just right, it'll just roll wherever it wants to, so no biggie. So we're going to go ahead and go back over this again. This has been filled really well, So, and I even got some holes up there filled. So let's see what it's going to look like. And it looks like we've got a little bit of wobble in it too. So we'll end up straightening it all out anyway, because we do have some wibble wobble. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I reflattened the top so we have a better spot for the tailstop. This should straighten us out for a final shape too, so. Let's see if we can get it nice and crisp now. Downhill for spindle work, uphill for bowl turning. Or you can say downhill for end grain, uphill for cross grain. Let's see what that looks like, because we did have some spots there. Okay, it cleaned it up. I think I might be a little too high. About 800. Let's see what that flapping is. Okay, it's because we got to get down a little bit more on it. A little bit more on it in that area. Okay, now I'm starting to hit this little spot. We do have some soft edges that we're going to have to harden back up again. Okay. Not bad actually, and we can get a lot of this stuff taken care of by sanding, so I'll go ahead and resand again. I want to play up here a little bit. Something just doesn't feel right to me. I'm not happy. more soft spots here, and then I'll go ahead and take care of this, and then we'll sand her down again, and I'll bring you back when I get steady rest, I guess. You've already seen me sand once. We're back with our large urn and our Tim Yoder Robust Steady Rest came in the mail the other day, so we're ready to to work this urn and start drilling it out. Obviously, you see I had to make a little test run on it, but I've also got the camera in a different location, so hopefully my body won't get in the way as much, but you never know. We'll have to see. But until then, let's go ahead and get a little bit of drilling out and see how far we can go before I've got to run off for the day. So let's get her going. This is gonna take a while. Okay, since I'm making 2 urns, this is gonna be the larger one. I'm gonna use the larger bronze ring that I got from Niles Bottle Stoppers. And it is a 3.5 inch outside diameter and 3 inch inside diameter bronze ring. It's nice quality. I've used it for another urn before. They fit really good. So this is what we're going to use on this guy. We're at 2 inches on the inside now. We need to go out to 3 to fit it. So I'm going to do a little mark here. I've already got one mark, but I want it a little bit darker for me. And we're going to make us a ledge and then be able to go and finish up on the inside. Well, not finish, but get really moving on the inside. Need to go up a little higher. We're at 400 now. I'm gonna see if I can increase the speed to 6. Check our hole size to make sure we're good. Alright. We still have some punkiness that we'll have to deal with through the time. Get a little bit wider. That ought to do it. And then we'll get the depth for the ring. Yep. Alright, let's keep it at that. We'll get the right depth. And then we won't mess with it. So we need about ½ inch or close to 8 mil, about 8 mil. So let me go get my depth gauge. Right about there. All right. Okay. That should put us there. We're just going to do a dry fit. Might want to, yeah, we're going to, that's going to be really tight, which is good. So, I am going to make it a little bit of hair touch. Kind of gave it a little bit of a slant so it can work its way in there a little bit better. And the epoxy, the 5-minute epoxy, then when I do use it, it'll set really well. Okay. Yep, that's going to work. Now let's take her off. Maybe I went a little too well with it. Because I'm not going to hollow with that thing in there. Good thing is we still have a little space in the back I can get to. I didn't push it all the way in. A little pop that way. There we go. Alright. There we go. Alright, didn't mess anything up, thank goodness. Now I've got the basics out here good, the rim. We can start hollowing a little bit more. I'm going to go nice and easy, nice and slow. Yes, this is a little one to get me going. I've got my bigger one I'll get to here in a little bit. Let's see how it's going to roll. And I'm probably going to have to remove my tailstock, or I can just use it as an actual armrest. Just got to keep on following that guideline and we should be good. Alright, before I go any further, because we do have some of that punky wood right in here, I'm going to throw a little bit of polyurethane spray, and then I'm going to throw some super glue on it just to tighten it up a little bit. Give it some strength. I've been using this one, so the end kind of got clogged. Good, it's soaking it up pretty good. And I could always go back over it with some sandpaper, nice and lightly and easy, if I lose my shape. There we go. Crisp up the corners. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Granted, we're still pretty thick around the top, but we're getting there. Let me see if I can tighten up the set screw in the back, and we'll go a little bit in reverse so I can see a little bit better down the hole. It's getting close to dinner time. Getting close to dinner time. Now that I'm happy with. We're still kind of thick because I have this top piece, but I'm right about here and about that much thickness right about there, so I think we're good. Now I can start working our way back and down. And I do have an angled carbide piece, but I have three. Actually, I have the number 2 and the number 3 to where it really hooks in there. But I'm just as happy going in reverse. It's really not that bad. I'm almost to the wheeling area, and then we can start going. We're right about here now, and we're pretty even throughout. I'm about ready to start going and drilling again, just because, I don't know, let's play with it. Let's see what we can do. Good thing is, this is a rather large, probably 1.5 foot, and I have a big belly, so I'm able to, right height right there, latch it down on that big old belly and have it wrap around the handle a little bit. It doesn't really wrap around the handle, but you get my point. Gives a little bit more. No, I don't have a hollowing system. Because I spent $600 on this thing for my 18-inch lathe, so it makes it a little bit more money if I wanted to get a hollowing system. I know I can do it with this. I've done it before. It's just can get a little hairy. I'm readjusted. Got the tool rest a little further inside, trying to be careful with it. If I catch a snag, it might mess up, but we should be okay. We're about halfway down. Alright everybody, we are hollowed out to a level of my satisfaction, and I believe it'd be pretty good. It's actually made this thing really, really light. We do have the punkiness that's still in a couple of pieces of it. We had a boo-boo with the tool rest. I knew that was going to happen. So we have some excess room around the edge here that we're going to fix. I was able to save a bunch of shavings from it, very, very fine powder. And what I'm going to do is we're going to mix it with some super glue. We'll put some down, super glue. That's going to be the last thing that we do after we're done sanding, because this is going to, it's already centered. I was able to have a little bit of a lip down in the inside here to where I could center it out and get it nice and perfect. So when we do glue this in, this will be placed in around it and sealed so it'll keep it nice and stable for future. And it is all leveled out flat. So when we get the lid and we put the lid on, same thing, it'll be centered onto it and it'll screw on and lay flat across the top here. I may kind of chamfer it a little bit on the inside so it sets perfectly flat and you don't see any spaces in between. But we do have some sanding to go over. I just went to show you where we're at now. Again, we're hollowed out nicely. We got some outside and internal sanding. So when I get back from going to grab dinner for the night, I might do some of it tonight. I may let the wood rest a little bit, and we'll go from there. So, all right, y'all, we'll be back. Hey everybody, we are sanded on the outside to 600 and 400 on the inside. Getting ready to put some more sanding sealer on it. We got it sanded down pretty well. There we go. That's going to be looking pretty darn good from what I can see. So they got some spalting in there like crazy. And this is going to be, even though that I used the cut up denatured alcohol and epoxy to harden up and stabilize, it's still soaking up the sanding sealer because we've gone through so far through it all. So this is good. I'm actually pretty happy with it. So we're going to do a good amount of this sanding sealer on it, on the inside and outside. And now we got the really figured portion right here. And perfect timing with that battery, because we're going to go ahead and finish putting this sanding sealer on, and it's going to be sitting for the next spot. Next part of making it nice and pretty and shiny. I will show how I center up the ring, or at least I'm going to try to remember to do that. There we go. Trying to get down into that crack. Make sure you get it deep down into it. Okay. Just do another coat on the outside, and then I'll start on the inside. Normally I have a smaller container for my sanding sealer, but I got some stuff going on that I've got to hurry up and get to, so I didn't pour it into the other little dispenser and into the little cup, so we're just going to go straight to it. There we go. There we go. Alright, now once this is done drying, then we just got to worry about the 600 grit. Knock it out or something like that. 600 or 800 on the outside, really smooth it out. and then we'll polyurethane it and seal it up. Okay, we're set up for the polyurethane. Got our little cotton cloth and we'll wipe it on. Make sure we get it all rubbed in nice and pretty. And this ought to bring a nice old shine to it. I could run up the lathe and spin it, and I'll probably do that after I get it all on here. The big thing is I'm getting it all on right now, and then I'll be nice and light and keep it nice and slow and make sure we spread out the polyurethane evenly throughout the entire piece. Alright. Hey, we're back, everybody. We've got some wet sanding to do after that first polyurethane. There's definitely going to be streaking in here. You may not be able to see too much of it in the video, but yep, you got some right in here you can see. So the wet sanding in between the coats is what's going to get rid of all that and make it even smoother. So now we'll go ahead. I'm going to use a 600 grit first and see if that'll knock it down far enough. If not, then I'll go to the 400 and try from there. But 600 to 800 is where I like to, what grit I like to sand in between normally. So let's see what we got. The object of this is to keep it wet as much as possible, nice and easy, until you start seeing a slurry. When you see the slurry, that means you're getting into the polyurethane and you're sanding it down. Nice and easy. You start seeing that white slurry going across there. That's what we're talking about. Nice and lightly. You want to keep it moving. Oh yeah. Nice and easy. I guess the 600 will work, but we'll wipe it down real quick here in a second to see how well it's working. Now you don't have to completely drench the piece in water. You just got to keep it wet. Keep the sandpaper wet. So, alright, now that ought to get us to a point right there to where we can go ahead and wipe it and see how it's going. And you can even hear the difference here to there, because we haven't touched over there yet. And it looks like we are knocking back a good amount of the up and down portion that I wiped on heavily, and it's getting pretty nice. Now it doesn't have to be perfect this go around, because after the second and third one, if you go to a third one, the polyurethane starts filling in some of the small cracks and crevices, and you're building it up and building it up to make it nice and even throughout. So we'll go ahead and continue on, and I'll bring you back when we get the next coat put on. Alright everybody, we are back with the urn base. We haven't put that final coat of shiny stuff on it. We have to set this ring in, and since we had a little boo-boo earlier in the beginning of this, the ring hole is a little too wide, so we're going to fix that. However, we do have a small enough lip in there right now to where we have the center point and it ain't going anywhere. We just have to fill in the sides. So I have a coffee grinder. We're going to take some of the dried grounds from turning this, and we're going to make them smaller. I'm going to put them in the coffee grinder, however much I think I need, if not a little extra. And we're just going to make sure to grind it up as fine as we can, so we can pack it down in there and hit it up some CA glue as well. I'm just going to sit and let it grind. It doesn't have to be an expensive coffee grinder. Just something that can grind up the dry pieces of shavings. Now, obviously you don't want to put twigs in here. You want whatever shavings you can. Now when you open it, it's going to be really dusty because it's going to make a fine particle. Alright. Now, I'm thinking the best way to do this is to throw some tape around the ring here, some painter's tape, to where it doesn't matter if we touch that, and you know, the painter's tape will get the glue and stuff on it. So let me grab my painter's tape. And we're back that quick. And let's put a ring around the threading to protect it as much as we can. It doesn't have to be perfectly put on there, we just need to protect the ring so we can be a little extra heavy on the getting the grinded up pieces of wood down there without messing up any or getting anything stuck in the threading. Alright, so now I'm going to sprinkle a little bit in all the way around. And if you have a set of dental picks, one maybe with the flat bottom on it, I got one over here somewhere, something that you could use to pack down the shavings like that. It can help you pack them down, and plus it can help you clean it up. But once you get a small little layer in there, you can start throwing the glue to start hardening up around it, and that will also help harden and seal your brass ring in there as well. Now I don't want to fill it up yet all the way around. We want to fill it all the way. We want to add stuff all the way around, but just not fill it to the top of the rim yet, because we have to do it in stages to make sure the super glue sets all the way through everything. So if I fill it all the way up and I put super glue in it, and it's got a lot to sink in and seep through, it may not get super glue in everything, or CA glue, whatever you want to call it, into everything. And you may have some dry spots in there, and you don't want that. And don't pack it too tight yet until after you get some glue in there as well. You want to just push it down in there, but don't be like trying to stamp it down in. And you can do this part however you like. You know, I made the mistake, so I'm trying to fix it. Now, I didn't have to show this part. I could just have done this and you never would have known I made a boo-boo. But how are we going to learn if we don't try to work and fix our boo-boos? So I don't mind showing everybody, including the client, the customer, or however you want to call it, that I made a mistake. I'm not the type of person to hide it. You could probably see my nasty hair in the camera. Nope, you can't. Good, I got it all the way down in there better for the camera positioning. Okay, so we're pretty even all the way around, and it's not packed super tight. So I'll start grabbing the super glue and getting it going. Alright, here we go. Let's see, that should be enough. If not, I'll have to get some more. Super glue kind of sealed through the top, so use a little dental pick and poke it. If you miss any and get it on the edge, wipe it up before it dries, because you really ain't going to have too much of an opportunity. Well, yeah, you could still sand it from here. I still could, but I don't want to take a chance of messing up the ring. So I'll probably give it a wipe down real quick, right along the edges. Okay, let's see how much if I missed any. A little old piece of paper towel, some PP towel. Alright, now throw some more in here, and this one should pretty much flatten you back out again. This is the main reason why I wanted the tape. So when I put this coat on, I can go as high as I want and not really have to worry too much about the threading, because we've got CA glue that hasn't dried yet that's going to grab and pick up that last top layer, and then we'll just do it in increments until we get it leveled right off, if this doesn't level it off enough. Kind of like that. Now we've got that top layer on. I could probably use a little bit more in some spots, so I'll let this dry up a little bit, and then we'll finish it off and make sure we get it nice and flattened out, as close as possible. So nope, the top already sealed back up on me. Nope, I'm out halfway through. Alright, we'll do a little cleanup. So I got a spot over here that I need. We'll throw some shavings on the part that we've already got wet. pat, 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 pat. Use our handy dandy pick. Scrape off any excess that we don't want. Maybe we messed up and got a little bit of super glue somewhere. That's pretty flat on this side. So I'm going to grab another thing of super glue and we'll finish up the other half of this and do any cleanup that we need to do, and then we'll come back and put the shiny stuff on the outside. Alright, we are back. We've got another piece of the poplar on here. This is going to be the top for the urn. I cut a nice old chunk off. Gave us about 4 inches and by 5 inches by about 4 square. So, squarish, rectangularish. First thing I'm going to do is round it off. It should be about 4 inches round in diameter, and about 4 or 5 inches tall for now, until I can get the tenon put on and get it cut down and shaped the way that I want it. So let's go ahead and get it rounded off first. We're about 900, 927, 950. I'm starting to feel more vibration, so we're just going to hold it there. Alright, still a little bit of tear out, even though that was a good riding the bevel all the way down and freshly sharpened before we started turning. Let's go ahead and make sure we got a flat on the bottom here and get the tenon put on, and then we'll go from there. I think it's turning out pretty nicely so far. I like the grain pattern in it. Smaller gouge. We'll go with my 1/2 inch spindle. It should still have some sharpness on it. We'll go ahead and get it switched out. I think it's ready. Alright. Move the dry spur, drive center, whichever we may call it. Alright. Go ahead and get some more measurements again. Oh wow, yep. We just got to clean it up because that's about how wide I want it on the urn. So, alright, let's clean it up. So I need to get the bottom set for the ring, get the right sizes for the ring set up for the outside, put a little cove in it, and then make a recess good enough to fit my chuck again so I can flip it over and do all the work to it. But the main concern right now is the bottom piece being flat, getting the ring size, and dressing up this edge. But the inside's more important at this time, so let's get it straight. I'll just bring you back once I get all the tools set up and measurements done. Alright, we've got her set up. We've got my caliper set to a slightly smaller than the ring so I can get a basic notch put in and then slowly get it, expand it till it can snugly fit the rim. Hopefully no boo-boos for this one. They look like they're lining up. Right about there. Mark it. Where is this up? Little test fit. Yep, a little bit more to go. That's about perfect. Okay, now we just got to go down a ½ inch, I think.